President, we are on. All right. I will call to order the Auburn Parks and Recreation Board meeting for January 27th at 6 p.m. 2026 at the Reiki Lodge in Auburn, Indiana. First order of business on the agenda is acceptance of minutes. Has everyone reviewed the minutes? Are there any questions or comments on the minutes before I'll accept the motion to approve or deny?
Mr. President, Ben Nordman moves that the board approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Parks and Recreation Board held December 17, 2025.
Allison Todd, I second.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Minutes passed. The next order of business is introduction of guests.
This evening, we have joining us Kevin Webb, correct me if I'm wrong, Madison Auburn, Matt Lehman, and Leslie Peel.
Okay, the next order of business is election of officers.
Communications.
Oh, I'm sorry, communications. Are there any communications? We have none. Okay. I don't know why I passed that. Okay. Now, election of officers for new business. Any discussion or question? First election of office would be the president. If there's any comment or questions or discussion, otherwise we'll accept a motion of nominations.
Mr. Superintendent, the minutes should so reflect that one of our members is not here tonight. Do you believe that we are able to proceed with the election of officers in lieu of Don not being here?
If we might have to have if nobody's interested in one of the officer positions, then that would be where we'd have to table that for that. But if there's individuals or members interested in we have quorum, so we can elect if everybody is one in each position. But if there's one that somebody doesn't want, then we would have to wait and see if that Don would take that position.
And if memory serves, we take these positions one at a time rather than as a slate.
Correct. And I said President will be first, and then now down.
Mr. President, in light of the procedure set forth by the superintendent, Ben Nordman moves that the board approve Mike McCarowich as president of the Auburn Parks and Recreation Board.
Allison Todd, I second.
Okay, any other discussion?
Do you accept?
Yes. That's part of the discussion. I accept.
Whether you like it or not.
That's it. I'll accept that position. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that's one. It's one down. Okay. Next office is for vice president. Any discussion on that? I'll accept or entertain a motion on that one.
Mr. President, I move that the board approve. What is the language here?
I think approve.
Approve.
Yeah.
Ben Nordman as vice president of the Auburn Parks and Recreation Board.
I'll second that, Mike McCarowich.
Thank you, and I accept. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of Ben being the vice president?
Aye.
None opposed? Ben is vice president. Thank you.
Mr. President, Ben Nordman moves that Allison Todd be nominated and approved by this board to serve as secretary of the Auburn Parks and Recreation Board.
Mike McCarowich seconds.
I accept.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Okay, we all accept it, so that's one issue.
And I'd like to just thank everybody that taken on those positions, and we'll look for another good year. But great job.
Previous one. Can everyone hear Eric when he's talking? Okay, Eric, you're kind of talking a little soft, so I just want to make sure.
I'll speak up a little bit.
Especially. All right, next order of business, Pine Hills Community Event is Matt Lehman here. You're welcome to come up, state your name and
Sure, thank you. My name is Matt Lehman. I'm the lead pastor of Pine Hills, Auburn. I'm just going to note that I wish that my board meetings would run this smoothly. That's great.
you haven't seen it all yet.
Fair. So I have copies of the letter that I had sent to Eric regarding our intention for our event. I'm not sure if everyone's got a copy. That's great. Sure. So I'm just looking for approval from this board to be able to host a community event at Memorial Park over by McKinney Harrison on June 12th. Our intention would be for us to start set up around 2:00 in the afternoon. The event time starting, I mentioned, I think I said in the letter that it was 6:00 at night. We may move that to 4 if we are in the actual community and we have more participation. I think the biggest challenge when I was talking with Tabitha Cagle is that the park typically closes at 10:00 at night. And so the challenge of that for us is that if we start the movie earlier because of the equipment that we have, no one's going to see the movie until it starts getting dark. And so we're willing to accommodate however we need to be able to accommodate according to just the rules that are just set forth by you guys to make sure that just we're in compliance in the community to be able to hold such an event. And so just curious if you had any questions or anything that we would need to do on our end to make sure that we are in a place where we can have an event. Currently, we actually have it at the Cruise Cultural Plaza. We've done that every year for the last 3 years, and it's been successful. But one of the things we've noticed is that there's been limited participation because we're right on the main road. And so parents with young kiddos don't want to bring their kids out by too busy roads. And so we thought if we move it to Memorial Park, it might be more family friendly. It's actually closer to the elementary school that we participate with. It's in a residential area, so it just makes a lot more sense there. And the only reason why we've not done it previous is because I typically wait till the last minute to plan things, and getting in front of you guys to be able to plan things, takes some time on my end. And yeah, so that's what we're looking to do. Questions or clarification?
Well, just speaking personally, I think Memorial Park's a great location for you. I think it's great that you're in a neighborhood park, and I think focusing on a park that we just rejuvenated and redone, I think is a great thing.
Yep.
Puts a spotlight on the park. The parks are made to be used, and it's great that you're doing it. The issue I have for Eric, or the question I have for Eric, one is, what do you think as far as the neighborhood? We don't know how much light you're going to be using for this movie, and there's people around pretty much the whole perimeter of that park. So after 10:00, what kind of light disturbance or noise disturbance do you think will be prevalent between then and 11? That's the question I guess we have.
Is that for myself or is that for Eric? I'm willing to, I think you addressed Eric, but I'm willing to answer that question. So I think up until the point of the movie, we'd be having, there would be bounce houses. Hopefully the goal would be for a lot of kids running and screaming and having a great time. And so hopefully it would be loud for the families. We would have some music being played, but it wouldn't be concert level or anything like that. It would just be background music. And then when the movie would start, it would be loud enough for the people in the park to be able to hear it, but we wouldn't be blasting it. And if we needed to comply with a decibel limitation, we're absolutely willing to do that as well. We just want to offer an event to the community that would be sufficient just to engage the families in the neighborhood. We want to let people know that we as a church are present in the community. We want to be more involved. We actually have quite a few families from our church who actually live in that neighborhood. So yeah, but we would be willing to do whatever we would need to do to comply with your requests in that area. The last intent would be for us to be a nuisance to the community.
No, thank you for that. Eric, do you have any issues issue on that at all?
I have a few questions more than anything.
Sure.
Location of the event inside of the park, where is the location of the main portion of the event?
That's a great question. And so I've actually not been over there since it's been overhauled. I would say that really wherever there is power available, I was told there's a stage or something like a center area. I don't even know that we would use the stage. I think we would just set up we've got a 14-foot screen. We would just set it up somewhere that would be easily visible to everybody. And then we would just set a projector about 10 to 15 feet behind it. And then the the speakers would probably be just to the right and left of both sides of the screen.
Yeah, I probably want some type of map depiction of where you're gonna set up, proximity, just to see where we're gonna put 300 people potentially, just so it doesn't get bogged down or close. Obviously, you're gonna arrange it probably around the stage, because that is the most green space that we currently have, other than clear up north by the factories, but I don't think you're probably gonna make it up that far. I think the stage area is probably, I probably need to meet with you out there, and we just kind of walk through it. And,
Sure. Yep.
Obviously, it's not till June, so we have a little bit of time.
Right. Yeah.
But any time's fine. Use of the facilities, what are you requesting the use of? Because we do have rentable shelters in there. Are you just requesting the use of the ground or including shelters?
We are requesting use of the grass to set up our equipment and power outlets.
Okay.
And we don't need any facilities or anything like that. If it's a rain out, then we would just cancel the event anyway, because we're not going to be able to house people in a in a shelter like that. So our goal would be for us to set up the 14-foot screen for the movie, we would have, in the past, we've had 2 bounce houses, and the kids love that. And if we were in the park, we probably would do 3 if we were able to do that. Just the more the merrier. As a dad with 3 kids, we could have 10, and they would be playing at their heart's content. And so we would just want to have room for that, and then really just room in front of the screen for people to set up their own chairs, like their own camp style chairs, whatever. We would not be providing any chairs. We would not be requesting any chairs. They would either sit on blankets, sit on their own chairs, or whatever. In the past at the Cruise Cultural Plaza, I think we fit right around 250 people just in that brick area, and they all brought all their own chairs. And so we wouldn't need anything there. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good question to ask, because if you leave those rentals dates open and people rented those pavilions, then they wouldn't want to be interfering with you or vice versa, right?
Right. And I think I'd mentioned in the letter as well, like our intent would not be to privatize this event to where the only way someone could be on the grounds is if they're willing to participate with what we're doing. We just want to be a service to the community. And so if somebody wants to come and play on the playground or do whatever they're going to do and not participate, that would not affect us at all negatively.
I think if we have the location set right, it will detach far enough to actually host a couple different events in there. Both those rental facilities underneath the restroom facility and then the big one that we have out there. I think if the events move far enough away, 300 people is a lot of people, but we are designed to handle that occupancy. There would be probably additional trash cans unless you guys would bring your own trash cans, trash collection. We have some there just as usage, but not for a 300 person event. We might be able to mobilize a few, but we don't have a lot of extra either where we can transfer one from one park to another park.
If that were the determining factor, we'll find the trash cans.
Okay.
We're good at that. Yeah.
We have some,
Okay.
and then maybe one of local community services might be able to help out in that respect.
Okay.
So just a side note.
Eric, I noticed too, and I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but you're saying you're prepared to provide the certificate of insurance
Mhm.
of $1 million.
Correct.
Now, the city of Auburn would need to be named in that insurance policy, correct, Eric?
Yes, as an additional insured, Parks Department and the city of Auburn.
Is the legal name Parks Department?
It's, yeah, Auburn City, Auburn Parks Department, City of Auburn Parks Department.
Got it, okay.
And usually that's in a little box there at the bottom of the, a blanket policy. I'm sure the church has a blanket policy, and then you just have to, have that information or have that added for the event time and date.
Eric, do you need any additional clarification with respect to food and food trucks?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. Food trucks, if you bring in food trucks and they park along the roadway, they will have to have a itinerant food vendor permit, which is issued by the building and planning department. If they're in the parking lot, which does tie up parking spaces, but then the board has a little bit more control over that. We don't have to go through a lot of that other than having insurance and insurance for the food truck. Proof of that, and then proof of the health department inspection. That is up to date.
Okay. Okay,
But otherwise, if they park along the roadway, if that event does get pushed down to that end, I'm not quite sure because you're quite a ways away from that parking lot, whether that would be something they can do. I know it goes, the permits goes to that department, and then I believe they're potentially, they issue that permit, but want to make sure that it's far enough in advance that you can have that secured.
sure. And I'm not real familiar with the health department inspection certificates, whatever, are those items that those like food trucks would normally have on them anyway? Or is it something that would have to be specified for that specific event?
I believe it just certifies the food truck.
Got it, okay. Fair, okay.
It's best to ask these questions now than
Yeah.
Of course,
in May.
yep.
So, some of the light, that late at night, there is lighting there, but it's not lighting for an event lighting. There's dark areas that basically lights the path that would be the extent. There's not additional lighting there to be too far after dark. Since the facility's closed, we have security cameras set up at those poles for lighting for the security cameras. So if you're going to keep people out into the grass area, the lighting might not be sufficient for traveling or I guess for moving, just people moving from one point to the other. So
Okay.
something to be conscious of.
Yeah.
That would obviously fall in some of the church insurance policy, but something for the board to always think about, in the consideration side of it is, unless you're gonna bring out big lights and generators that, and then you have light pollution and things like that and noise and so forth. So just an observation. Food, if you serve it yourself, churches are kind of, they have kind of an exempt status a little bit on their food serving. So it would be kind of up to the group if you're going to bring in hot dogs or whatever that is and serve that popcorn. That will kind of fall upon the church group's responsibility to make sure that those are heated to the right temperatures for distribution to the public. We have, my understanding is the health department does not issue permits to church groups. We have requested in the past to have them issue them because it basically is another layer of, hey, talking to you and saying, hey, this is what you need to do if you're gonna serve this, this, and this. You need to bring this up to temperature. If you're gonna have cheese, it has to be 160. So all those things that are involved in that, and it might be a good recommendation just if you're unfamiliar with it. I don't know if you have a certified kitchen or in the church. Okay. So it might be worthwhile just if you're gonna serve those foods to make sure that they're brought up to the right temperature.
Got it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, up until this point, we've done nothing but serve popcorn at
Okay.
the fair, and no one said anything, yeah, but,
Yeah.
yep, I understand that.
Yeah, food's a little different because you can obviously get a lot of people sick in a short amount of time, so.
Mr. Superintendent, what are your thoughts about the request to grant permission for this to run until 11 o'clock p.m.?
I think there kind of needs to be maybe from the group to go out and kind of maybe some flyers and just to notify folks a little bit that, hey, we're gonna have if the board approves that. Obviously if it's loud and things like that, they will pick up the phone and call the police department and they'll have to come out and control that.
I mean, I'm asking that because, I mean, you believe we have the authority to do that in light of the park closing at 10?
Correct, you have that authority.
And would our motion need to designate a particular portion of the park in light of there being the other rentable places there? So we see the stage in immediate vicinity?
I think without going out there and finding out exactly where we need to be, if you gave me that authorization to place that event, then I can do so.
All right.
Keeping that in mind.
All right. I presume this would be some sort of sorry to bother you with all this.
No, you're fine.
You
Yeah.
get 300 people, I think that'd be fantastic. But
Same, yeah, agreed.
Just part of the job here.
Yeah.
You anticipate it being like an animated movie, like a rated G movie or something?
Oh, yeah, it would be family friendly. Yeah, in the past, we've done like the Super Mario Brothers movie. Last year we did, I think, a Ducks movie. I forget what it was, but it would be a movie that moms in our church would not complain to me later for showing to their 7-year-olds.
Yeah, I think we have a mutual interest in having it be a family approach.
Of course, yes, yep. And we will, so we have a license to be able to show publicly currently that actually expires June 1st, but that will get renewed before this event starts.
The inflatable bounce houses, those will be set up by you or by a corporation?
The company that handles those, yeah, they will do all the setup and tear down. In the past, we've always had them tear those down by 9 o'clock. So when the movie starts, they shut those down. The company comes and picks them up that way from 9 to 10:15 or whatever it is. That it's just the movie showing. And so the reason why I requested 11, it wasn't because we're going to be loud until 11, but the goal is for the movie to be done around 10:15-ish. And then we've got plenty of time to get things cleaned up so it looks as good as it did before we showed up.
And just ensuring that's a lot of cars. Be courteous of the neighbors. On the west side of the road, there isn't a lot of residential housing along that side. And then the parking lot, obviously, on the one side for people that can walk in that direction. I believe there's no ADA access off of that curb cut.
Okay.
So you may have, once we go out there to take a look at that, may need to address that by parking in the parking lot that is all ADA accessible to the stage.
Okay.
So just.
Now there is parking though, like on the west side of that, right down the road. On the one side, I thought there was. Okay. So I can always make sure that our people who are there to serve, make sure they're parking on the side of the road. That way we can do the ADA accessible spots available. That way there's no congestion there.
I think the big considerations are the sound, the time, extension, use of the grounds. I don't believe that to be an issue, but I think the big things potentially food, making sure that all the ducks are in a row on your food service. If you are planning on serving food other than just popcorn. But I think those are the kind of the couple issues that really need to be looked at when
Any other questions or comments? Well, I'll entertain a motion on this proposal.
Mr. President, Ben Nordman moves that the board approve the request by Pine Hills Church. I'll try to say this as succinctly as possible, that we approve their request for the community movie night on June 12, 2026 from 2:00 p.m. up until 11:00 p.m. subject to the production of applicable insurances and health department permits as may be required, and subject to placement of the event at the discretion of the parks superintendent.
Allison Todd, I second.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Does that do what you need to do? Is that good, Eric?
Yep.
All right.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Moving forward.
Be in contact.
Would you be the contact person then for that?
Yes, more than likely. It'll be myself, Kelly, which is our program manager. And she deals with events quite a bit, so she will have to help along with that too.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Good luck with
Thank
it.
you.
It's a success.
Okay, excuse me. The next item on the agenda is master plan committee appointment.
Mr. President, this is part of the master planning process for 2027 to 2031 master plan to be completed in the next year here. Kind of requested that a board member or two, no more than that, serve on this committee. For the board, I would recommend that Mike McCarowich be on that committee, kind of due to his experience and dealing with it in previous years. So he's already been through this process one time. But other than that, that's what we're looking for. It is up to the president for appointments. There's really no vote needed for the appointments.
Well, first of all, to open discussion, I know Don's not here, but are either you, Ben, or you, Allison, interested in being on that master plan committee?
Possibly.
Okay. Eric, I know Don in his last meeting expressed interest in that. Since there's other board members interested, I would hate to leave Don out of it. But if there are other members, and Allison's expressed interest, I don't know if Ben has or not, but I would be happy to appoint Allison as a second Auburn Parks board member.
I'll write that down. Are you accepting your?
Oh, I'll accept, yeah.
You appoint yourself?
I'll accept myself, yes. That's twice now.
Thank you for serving on that.
Do you have any idea of the frequency of this?
It's every 2 weeks, and it is, I'll have the information for you.
Okay.
It is through the day on the committee meetings. They can be virtual.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have that, and it could be just you hop on a Zoom or on a Teams call, and
Yep.
we go from there. I think the big thing is the 25th and 26th. We are having the focus group and stakeholders meetings.
What month?
Of February.
Okay.
And so I will get you all that information, and then you can take a look at it, and if you have any questions. And some of that can be scaled down to maybe the evening meeting when the presentation for that by the consultant firm. So on the 25th.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, my participation is contingent on the scheduling
okay.
and the timing of the schedule, because if I'm teaching class at the time they're meeting, Zoom
I understand.
can't help me then.
Alright.
Okay, I think that concludes that part of the business, Eric, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Okay, the next one is ACD contracts.
So we have contracts here for the usage by the ACD organization, and I believe it's festival. And this contract has been something that we've always, from year to year, always approved and looked at based on the requests and needs that the organization needs for that year. So I will, that's all I have.
Okay. Leslie,
Yes.
if you want to state your name.
Sure.
and,
Leslie Peel, Auburn Duesenberg Festival Executive Director.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So go ahead, whatever you want to offer for information.
Sure.
for the
So
board.
as Eric had mentioned, most of these contracts we've had in place for many years, sometimes with some minor tweaking. The first one is the usage of the bleachers, which we typically use for parade viewing on Saturday. That would be September the 5th. Typically, we pick those up on Thursday evening, so that would be the 3rd, right? Yes, the 3rd, September 3rd. When we do set up downtown, those will get picked up and then placed on September 3rd. That's typically, I don't think we actually used them last year, but we like to have, because they're kind of a beast to move with our lack of volunteers that day, but we'd like to have that available if possible for seating. So that's the first contract. And like I said, that's been many years. The second one is for the Eckhart Park for our ACD club. They use that, of course, for their car show on Saturday the 5th, September 5th, but they ask for that rental for the 4th and the 5th. And on the 5th is when they do their car show, their judging and all of that, and then leave that area then, of course, downtown to parade downtown for the Parade of Classics. They would be leaving, I think we said by 4 p.m. is possible for that. There's also part of that Eckhart Park rental where the skate park would be closed for a time because they do in-motion judging of the cars. So of course, for safety purposes, we'd like just to have that closed for both of those days. I believe those times should be listed in that contract as well. And then the Ricky Park parking lot that we've used, the north end, which has worked really, really great. We have a lot of ACD club members who come in early for our Hoosier tour, and of course, just for things through the week. But that rental period would be from Wednesday, September the 2nd, and would go through Sunday, the 6th. And that would allow, just on that north end for our RVs, trailer parking and that overnight. I know it gets utilized because I came out last year and there were multiple units out there. Always seems to work really, really well. I know they're very thankful to have a place to be able to be overnight with their units. I think that covers all of it. We'll just keep adding more and more contracts.
Eric, do you have any concerns or issues?
I have nothing. The organization's been great to work with, and I can't say enough for the cleanliness after we leave the event. So I don't have to make phone calls afterwards. So
I love that. I'll let Gretchen know that.
One of the things that did change, obviously, was skate park closed until 4 o'clock. But other than that, most everything is the same for the events.
Okay, now, Eric, on my piece of paper here, it says 3 o'clock for 6 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Ooh.
Instead of 4.
That did get updated on the one that I signed
That should be
yesterday.
Oh,
That's in your file there.
Okay, so it is 4.
It is 4 o'clock. Yep, it should be in there.
You know, that parade, depending on the weather, you never know how quickly they can get out of that area. So that's a little bit of a buffer, we think.
Oh, I see. Okay. Any other questions? There's a lot here, but like you say, most of it's SOP from before. But are there any questions or concerns at this point for the board? And Eric, you're okay?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Presuming no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, Ben Nordman moves that the board approve as written the proposed contracts between the Parks Department and the ACD Festival Committee.
Allison Todd, I second.
Eric, just as a clarification, do all three of the contracts need to be specified in the motion or just a general motion to?
I would specify the contracts for the different areas, including Eckert Park, the north side of Reiki Park parking lot, and the usage of the bleachers.
Okay, so if you just want to amend your motion.
Yeah, I renew my motion incorporating Eric's locations into the motion. The north side of Reiki Park, the Eckert Park Pavilion, and
the bleachers.
the bleachers, yeah. We approve all three contracts.
Mike McCarowicz seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all so much. Appreciate all of your help all year long. Thanks for putting up with us.
This one's from Mike for signatures. There's 3 pages for signatures.
Okay, now, the next item on the agenda is the mower purchase.
So we have 2 mowers in this year's budget to replace with trade-ins. And I have included all of the quotes that we've received, pictures of those mowers to be traded in, and the specifications that were included with the original quotes. There is a spreadsheet about 5 or 6 pages back that actually outline the quotes, who they were from, and the amount, including the trade-ins. We did solicit 3 individuals, and the 2 submitted quotes, and the last one did not return the quote in time specified by the request for quote. My recommendation is the lowest bid or quote from Homier and Sons in the amount of $20,000.
Any discussion on the board?
Eric, just to be clear, that is a quote for identical models and identical equipment, correct?
Correct.
Right. So there's really nothing to compare between the two. They are identical machines.
They are identical, same model numbers. Obviously the trade-in. Yeah, so. But the quote does need, or the motion does need to have the trade-ins in there and the purchase of the mowers. And there is serial numbers associated with each of the trade-ins. I'm not sure you need to get that detailed into it, but just, I would say just the model, trading in the Ferris ISX 3300 series mower.
Any other discussion? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, Ben Nordman moves that the board approve the request of the City of Auburn Parks and Recreation Department to trade in 2 Ferris ISX 3300 series lawnmowers. I guess with last 4 serial numbers 2218 and 6922 might be the best way to specify that. And furthermore, that we authorize the purchase of 2 new Ferris ISX 372-inch deck lawnmowers from Holmeyer and Sons, Inc. In the cumulative net amount after trade-in of $20,000.
No. Did you say 2 mowers purchase or 1 mower
I
purchase?
think we're purchasing 2 and trading in 2. correct?
Okay, just want to be clear on that. Okay.
And then I've specified just my last 4 of serial number for 2 being traded in. Okay, good to be confusing.
Allison Todd, a second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion passes. Okay, the next item on the agenda is dumpsters contract.
So we are looking for, to renew a contract. We have bid out with 3 different, vendors. And, this is for Reiki Park, which is a seasonal mower or seasonal dumpster. So it's pulled after the season ends out here for the baseball and then put back in place in the first part of April. So what we have here, went through and did a price comparison on this. And we currently have Republic Services. And we've seen an exponential increase in the rate of their contract that over the last 5 years. So I've included this into the projections. So as you see at the top here for 2026 price comparison with 5-year projection cost, this shows us where we started in 2021 and where we are currently at on the contract and the amount. So we're seeing increase, like I said, over doubling in that 5-year time frame. So Republic has submitted a quote for $176.10 per month. We also then ran the projections based on the increases for what we've seen historically. And then we came up with a number at the end in 2020 of $433.70. So that projected cost obviously outweighs, and once you average that cost, it tends more towards the $320 range of the contract. We start off at 176, the next year it goes to 240. My recommendation is to go with Washler based on $180.08 with a do not exceed of 3% per year. We also then ran the projections for that, and we're at $180.08 in 2026. By 2030, we are at $202.68. So as you can see, our projections and cost savings to the city are going to be made up by paying a little bit more in the first base rate than what we would see throughout the contract.
No, it's, at least to me, my opinion is, when we're talking a 5-year contract or projection cost, we got to look at it as a 5-year package. And it just seems to me that we're not doing the park department or the Auburn taxpayers any favors by allowing one vendor to, even though they were $4 less than the, for the current year, to far outpace the expenditures of the other vendor who would over 5 years save the Parks Department and the city of Auburn quite substantial amount of money. So my opinion is, with that logic, I would recommend Walshler as the one we go with. That's my opinion. I don't know if the board wants to go any other comments, please do.
These are both 8-yard containers, as I understand it, right?
So picked up once a week.
Do I understand correctly that, that Republic is a 3-year contract, Washler is in essence month to month, and GFL is
Also
5-year?
Correct.
So if we're not happy with Washler, we're not locked in, it sounds like.
Correct, because a lot of these have auto renewal policies in them. Dumpster service is hard to get out of when you get into them. So we're working ahead, and once the end of the 5 years, then that'll be the end of it. So we're working on, we'll have another contract go through for Eckert Park in the maintenance shop when that contract expires. And then if Washler is the lowest or comparably the lowest, then we will coincide those contracts with each other. So we'll have renewals at the same time.
Seems like the only benefit to going with Republic is in year one, you would have a $3.98 per month savings, which is going to be more than swallowed up in the next 4 years thereafter. Is that fair to say?
That is correct.
Okay.
Any other discussion or questions?
Seems
Well,
very
I'll
clear.
entertain a motion.
Mr. President, Ben Nordman moves that the board approve the proposal of submitted by Washler for Reed Park dumpster.
Mike McCarewich seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye. That's. Okay, the next item on the agenda is lodge rent.
We had an organization come to us, Saving Grace, requesting the use, or I guess the situation was that they made a reservation for the Riki Lodge. Going through, doing due diligence, we went through, they had it listed out for more of an event, not a graduation rental, kind of what this area is geared towards, where it's weddings, graduations, more family events. So we did find this, and so we reached out and started the correspondence back and forth and trying to get details on the event, what it entails, all of that good stuff. So we've requested Madison to come and speak to the board on what this involves, since it's not necessarily a event that the park department has in this facility. So
Is Madison here? Come on up, please, and state your name and
My name's Madison Orban. I run a fairly new non-for-profit here in DeKalb County. We support sexual assault survivors and their families. This half-burning class, first of all, I apologize for doing it the wrong. I've never done this before, so if I did it the wrong way, I apologize. What we intend for this class is to create a guided participation in burn design. So it'd be hats or purses. Words as a form of self-expression and release. It matters because it's a creative outlet proven to help people process stress, grief, and identity shifts. This class would give a tangible way to release what they are carrying and walk out with something meaningful. We're offering 2 options, 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. All the supplies are provided, a safety briefing and monitored tools, and this would be a very small group setting. So I'm talking like 10 people, maybe. I would be excited with 10. So very small. It's for adults and older teens. And I'm just asking for the space for this.
Okay, so you're pretty much saying that you're expecting less than 20, but again, you're inside this facility. What if 50 show up? Then 50 are going to be allowed in here, correct?
No, so we have if you were to scan the QR code, there's a registration. So we would know how many people are coming. They have to pay for a ticket to the event. If it became more than 10 people, the person putting it on is Molly Walker from Garage Gals Unlimited. She would let us know, and there is a cap, was what I'm saying.
Okay, now, again, you're a 501c3, is that correct?
Yes.
The other thing is, the question I have, and I don't know if again the board, please chime in, but I'm a little concerned about the activity itself being in here.
Yeah,
Okay. When I see burning going on, it bothers me. Okay, I think damage to tables or possible fire risk. So that's just an issue with me. It's just that kind of thing that I don't know how Eric feels about it yet, but putting even though you would come in with insurance, still leaving possible damage, potential to, again, a public building for the citizens of Auburn, it just bothers me personally. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Well,
Eric, how do you feel first of all?
should we hear what it entails before we catastrophize?
Well, no,
That it's like
will.
a flamethrower is
Yeah,
involved?
no, I understand, but I just wanted to,
Just
Eric,
like, I'm sure there's a more controlled technique involved, considering
just-
it's fabric.
just off the top, so Eric, first of all, and then from the board, and then from Madison.
Sure. I guess the intent of the building and the people that come into the building, expect it to be in a clean fashion and an area that everybody, even people with COPD, anybody with these potential issues. I think my only concern is that it comes from a safety standpoint of cords, people tripping, kids grabbing hot irons, that type of thing. Also then some of the smell that is given off and soaked into the building and the panels and so forth that we have here. I have watched the videos to kind of see what they do and how they do it on the hats, and it's basically like a little soldering iron that they draw on. If I got the right video.
Yeah.
I did research the Garage Gals. They do a lot of area things, so they do wineries and things like that. I'm not sure that it's inside stuff. I know they operate out of their garage or out of their own home facility also. But I guess my concern comes from a safety standpoint and potentially a smell or contamination of the building by yellowing it or whatever that might look like. I think the event in itself is a great event. Obviously, you're passionate about it and you want to see that, but I don't know if the space that is here is the right fit.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion. The board can makes the final decision on that, but I do have concerns from a safety standpoint. We have outside outlets, so you're putting cords across that, and how that's managed, I don't know. We don't have a lot of control over that. So
It seems like it needs to be an indoor facility though to do this though at that time of year. Is that fair to say?
correct, yeah. I could have the girl who's hosting this, she's done this class many times, email in the exact steps for this, if that would make you all feel more comfortable. I'm willing to get something in writing from her. There would be From what I was told, there would be like a protective like mat or something placed on the tables. It is in very small groups, so she will be with,
But there'll be cords from these outlets coming to the tables, is that correct, for the floor, or? how do you-
so we would probably set it up, where the outlets are, so like a table over here, with the cords, so they wouldn't be a tripping hazard.
I see the event is at 6 o'clock. How long are you requesting for it to be ready?
I think online it said till 9. I know we won't,
Okay, 9 to 9.
And you're gonna get the proceeds from both times.
yes.
Now, is there any insurance issues with this? Because again, there's potential here. and-
Yes, there is potential. And I don't know, even from a standpoint of the fire marshal, through the fire department, I'm not quite sure. This kind of came to us a little late. So probably not as vetted as we'd normally be, but obviously there could be concerns with that. Insurance obviously is the building intent for that. Obviously we have a fireplace here, so it's gas, right? So I'm not quite sure that there's a whole lot of concern with that potentially other than insurance. Insurance could be, because you have something that's designed for it, something that's not designed for the space, so.
As far as the guns, are they designed for 110 outlet with the related amps for that?
That is something I would have to ask
That's
Molly.
the other, because I think you're 110 outlet here, right?
Yeah, and they are. If you can imagine a soldering iron, basically it looks like a pencil. It's about that long, has a real sharp point on it, what I've seen from the videos, and they go in and they hold the piece and they just stencil it, I think, stencil it and then draw on it.
And then again, the only outside issue is the odor that you mentioned. And that could get permeated. Again, I'm just bringing up the devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
That could be permeated in the tiles and the ceiling, whatever, and we have future people coming in going, what is that smell?
What's that burst smell?
Again, it's just like if we all decided to have a cigar smoking situation in here for 5 hours or whatever the case is, you would smell it afterwards. So I'm just concerned with some of these things. That's my opinion. And I really appreciate the other board members throwing out their opinion and issues.
A lot of times we'll have, so 10 people, I'm not sure 10 people, or the outlets will support 10 people. And those might be all on the same circuit.
Well, so it sounds like 10 would be a point where she would be ecstatic to have. It sounds like realistically talking about less than that.
Yeah.
Would it be helpful if a motion contemplated the possibility of approval from the fire marshal and applicable insurance to allow you to look into that?
Yes, we do.
We would need to probably incorporate that into a motion.
Yeah. That leaves a lot of variables that could be interpreted. I'm not sure that, I think it needs to be a board decision at this point. I know you don't have all the facts yet unless you're gonna table it, but with the conversation, it could, yeah, we don't recommend it, but you do what you want. I don't know if that's, what that would look like then.
I just, I don't know if we're approving something that is otherwise prohibited by something we're not aware of.
Yes, I see where the issue is. And again, I still have those same safety concerns, obviously. If you have them along the wall, you still have kids that are gonna potentially pull on the irons.
It's an adult event though.
There's no kids,
No kids,
no kids.
no kids.
And given the subject matter, I would not anticipate there being a lot of kids around.
Again, it just depends on how comfortable we are with the potential
And with the exposure.
and the exposure. You've got heat, you've got the smell, I mean, you're burning material. Now, I know it may not be a lot, and I'm not, you know, if this was in May, June, July, August, and we had it outside on a patio, that would be a totally different situation. Being inside, I'm just throwing my opinion out, that I'm just concerned because of those issues that we brought up.
Madison, I know you put the flyer together. Have you already started advertising the date and the?
Yeah, because I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh,
It
no,
had
that's
to be,
totally
I mean,
understandable.
yeah.
Do we have any substitute locations that would work with less concerns?
Not during this time of the year.
Any other discussion?
I have no concerns, but a limited scope. So if
I'm very.
the fire marshal should be consulted, then we should do
Well,
that.
we've got limited time.
I'm very mindful of your concerns, Mike, and your concerns, Eric. I think, in light of the way that it was being explained by Eric as basically a soldering iron. And I think, given the particularly sensitive nature of this group, none of the people, but the subject matters, what I mean. I would hate to not do everything that we can to be supportive of them.
I also see that you guys have a board meeting February 24th. I know that's like super close. But if we needed to like get the fire, like whatever you guys would need from us, I'm willing to do that.
Could that be turned around that fast if we table it for the next meeting?
What do you mean by turnaround?
Well, as she's saying, if she presents more information to you to allow you to be more comfortable about the event, if we approved it next month, 2 days before the scheduled event, would you be okay with that? But she would have to come to you with any concerns, questions, solve those things.
And we can hammer out this liability and fire marshal issue and all that.
Yeah, and I can contact the fire marshal tomorrow if I needed
I
to.
mean, it's a kind of a 2-day, 3-day advance. Is that feasible, I guess, is?
Well, I believe
Eric, bottom line is, do you really want this event in this building? That's, I just have to bluntly ask, do you really want this event?
like I said, I've expressed kind of the safety concerns behind it. Now, if it is all adults, if somebody gets burnt, there's no liability insurance for this event, so there's really no recourse if something happens.
Again, that's my concern too.
But it would take, to pass it, it would take a unanimous vote, since we only have 3 members here. Otherwise, it would die as a motion.
Say that again with regard to the liability issue if somebody gets burned.
So if somebody gets burned, it is not the city's, we are approving the event.
Mm-hmm.
So if, let's say it's a rental, they come in, it's rented for the intended use. There's really nothing being added other than food and setting up things. So if you have somebody that is, the board is approving to be in here with a certain item, I am not sure that would be, if somebody got burnt real bad, they had to go to the hospital and they filed a tort claim against the city. How would the insurance pay that out? Would it be through the city, or would go after Garage Gals as
Don't we normally require the production of some sort of insurance policy from the group?
For an event, we do, yes.
You say this is not an event.
Well, I'm saying that it was space that was rented. But the reason it's coming before the board is because it's not normally an activity that's put on by a renting individual.
By virtue of them renting it for whatever purpose they choose, isn't that an event that would trigger the necessity to produce applicable insurance? I mean, don't we just require that of anybody?
No,
Should.
no, we don't. So if the building is rented, it is covered by the city's insurance. So as long as there's no neglect or something like that, then the city has covered negligence of that sort. And I'm not an expert on this.
But this would be different how?
Well, first of all, I think it's not what the intent is. So if the intent, and we safeguard against rentals for family events, things like that, that is something that this is designed for, to meet the needs of that. Something other than that, that is not designed, then, well, you allowed this and somebody got burnt.
This is getting way farther than I anticipated that it would. Is there somewhere, and through nobody's fault, I'm glad we're having this conversation, is there somewhere that defines what the intended use of this building is, or it specifically says?
Is there language that puts parameters on the
So-
use?
Not that I'm aware of,
Yeah,
other than it
We might
does
need
have-
to change that moving forward.
we do have
I mean,
Is it possible,
this.
then your legal mind is probably the one to address this, but possible when they register for the event, that they also sign a waiver?
They do sign a waiver. But
A waiver that would address any liability.
The,
I mean, when they register for the event.
I think Eric's concern is that if the building is used in some way that is not typically used for park purposes, and my question is, where is it defined what park purposes are? And what I'm hearing is there's no set definition for that. I hear it's, if you rent it, it's for park purposes.
So on line number 5, this is in the reservation policy. So under line 5, it says special event rentals that are open to the public will be required to provide a certificate of liability or insurance naming the city and Parks Department as an additional insured with a liability limit of $1 million. Other activities may be required to provide a certificate of insurance on a case-by-case basis after review. The use of the lodge for commercial or revenue-producing projects are prohibited unless approved by the park board. A special event application will be required within 60 days of the event if your event fits under these criteria. Open to the public, commercial sales, or the use of recreational equipment beyond what is included with the facility. And the application can be found on RecDesk.
So what I'm interpreting that as if they provide appropriate insurance, they can do it.
That if it's designated as a special event, something that's not included with a rental facility, you could request a $1 million policy naming the city of Auburn and Auburn Parks Department as an additional.
A couple of things. One is the use of the lodge for commercial or revenue producing projects. Now, this is a revenue producing project.
I don't think anybody's saying she's a 501c3.
Okay, just want
Yeah.
to clear that up.
My understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that There's an $80 fee,
Yes.
correct? And then the proceeds,
25%.
you gain 25% for this organization,
Yes.
and the rest of it is paid towards the garage gals.
So it is.
It is.
And materials.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's why I asked the question, okay? So this isn't just a 501c3 situation, and sorry we're wrapping you in all this technical stuff. We just want, we want you to be successful, we want us to obviously be successful. So we have to ask these questions now instead of on the other side of the coin where,
Absolutely.
some serious issues could come into play. Plus it says something about a 60 days prior, or we're obviously not 60 days prior.
Is this, here's a dumb question, is this a special event? Is what she's requesting a special event? No, there's a definition of it. It's not. Maybe that's in the city ordinance code or something, the definition of a special event. I don't think there is one that I know about. Okay.
I think if there's balloons, it's special effects.
Yeah.
I have to leave the sarcasm outside, I'm sorry.
I mean, it's a good conversation to have for the board to look at. I think, again, I'm speaking for me. I just think that with all the issues environmentally, health-wise, injury-wise, the fact that this is a revenue, sure, is, to my understanding, this is a revenue-generating event. At least 3/4 of it is. I just have serious issues with approving this.
Any further discussion?
That's what I'm waiting to hear.
Okay.
Allison, you okay with at least, I'm gonna make a motion to reject. Now, it can die with no second, and then we can make, somebody else can make a motion to accept. But that'll be up to the board. I'm gonna make a motion to reject the petition by, I'm sorry here, by Saving Grace to have an event here at Ricky Lodge on February 26th, 2026, due to some technical issues, but also due to some liability and injury issues and environmental issues that I think for the Parks Board is too risky to take. Okay, hearing no second, that motion dies. Now, who wants to make a motion?
Mr. President, Ben Nordman moves that the Auburn Parks and Recreation Board approve the request of Saving Grace to hold an event at Ricky Lodge on February 26, 2026, subject to the production by Saving Grace of an applicable insurance policy indemnifying with a liability limit of $1 million, the city and Parks Department as an additional insured.
Allison Todd, I second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I, Mike McCarowicz, oppose. So with that, and we needed 3 for a quorum to accept, the motion dies for lack of 3 votes. So I'm sorry, this particular application has been rejected. And what we're saying here is don't give up, okay?
No, I'll be better prepared next time. With
No,
all-
that's fine, and just know kind of how the board feels with the park superintendent as far as the kind of events. And again, we have to think worst case scenario. Okay, we can't just hope. Hope is a bad business plan. We don't really want to get into hoping everything turns out. We try to do everything we can to ensure everything is good. So please come back again and see us again. And it'll be good.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got it.
Madison, do you have a phone number?
Yeah, absolutely. 260-312-6766. 312. 6766.
766. Right? 6767. All right. I'll be reaching out to you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is old business. Do we have any old business to take care of? Eric, are you aware of any?
I have none.
Okay, moving past that then to superintendent updates.
I just have a few items, just kind of want to give you a few updates. We've been working on preventative maintenance at the park department on all our equipment. So we're getting to the point of wrapping that up. And also, we're going to start here in the next week on the construction of Halloween and Christmas props. And we have softball sign up. And Madison, are two available stages, so I can talk to you after the meeting?
I have a babysitter.
Okay, sounds good. I'll give you a call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, sign up for softball. It starts the 30th. So we're looking towards summer. That's we're moving in that direction because we're planning for Halloween and Christmas walk next year. So, but it involves about a month worth of construction, and then a month and a couple weeks. It's when weather turns, we turn outside. So, a few of the projects have been that you have approved. The board's approved. Is the overhead doors on the front side of the Quonset huts. So that places all of the doors except the one that is the street departments has new overhead doors operators, so they're all functional. We can get in and out of them. We use them on a daily basis, multiple times. So also we have had the HVAC system replaced here at the lodge, so that has been completed. That's all I have.
Okay. Any updates from the board at all? Okay. Next one is vouchers. Please review any questions on the vouchers.
Sorry, Kevin.
Eric, just based upon the sheer number of it, the overhead replacement doors from Bradley over the door. Remember we talked about that once upon a time. Can you
Eric just mentioned it.
Good.
You just mentioned it, no?
Yeah.
In your
Oh, that's
update?
the one you just mentioned. Okay.
Yeah, that was approved previously.
Right, yep. I remember we had a discussion about it.
Oh, about the dog park
Yeah, that would be,
stuff.
yep, that'll be coming up here this next year for Memorial.
I see on page 7, Eric, SCS environmental.
Yeah, so this is a new thing that's that we're doing. the city across the board has, it's already gone through the board too, is that all the safety training is done by a outside firm that comes in. They train us on all the proper OSHA, they do inspections, mock audits, so they're looking at the Parks Department and helping us meet all those criteria.
When did we discuss that? Was that December or November?
It might have been November. It was last year for sure. Yeah, this is the first bill. This is a one-time bill for the entire year. This is easier to pay it out at once versus run multiple checks.
Any other questions, concerns on the vouchers? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, Ben Northman moves that the board approve the register of vouchers commencing with invoice number 6944 and including with up to and including invoice number 97591 in the cumulative amount of $86,276.96.
I'll second Mike McCarroll. Any other discussion? All in favor? of
Aye.
vouchers? Aye. Any opposed? Passes. Okay. After vouchers, it's guest concerns, announcements. Anybody want to come up to the microphone?
Sure. I'm Kevin Webb, you all know, but. So yeah, a couple items that popped up. I talked to Eric after the last meeting because I forgot to mention that the council has established a fund can be donated to for the Veterans Memorial. So the Parks Department now is in charge of that facility, mowing the grass and stuff. And there will be some maintenance in the future. So they put our promotional fund that the council has control of, $3,800 to kind of seed that fund. So trying to help out with what we can there. I have a question on the Memorial Park parking lot. And my mind has got so many facts in it, I don't remember what was said. Is that going to be redone this year? Do you have a schedule?
It is not scheduled. It'll be done. There is money appropriated in that for that. I believe just recently.
What was the date? What's the schedule?
This year.
Yeah, like what month?
Yeah, we don't.
Because I was concerned we got a lot of parking for this thing, and so it'd be nice to know. And I don't remember,
I don't know quite who's gonna head that up, whether engineering is gonna do that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have a lot to do with it, but for the design,
But might keep that in mind with this project on redoing that parking.
right, yeah, it'll have to be scheduled. Okay.
The vouchers, the Reekie Park Open Pavilion electric bill was only $130. That's great, because 3-4 months ago it was 400 and some odd dollars. So that whatever was tweaked there for the off season for that is saving us money during the off season. So I appreciate that. And okay, fourth point, I can't help myself. So sounds like on the discussion on the last thing there that could have used the city attorney consulting a little bit there. I have mentioned to the mayor that this is a kind of a meeting that somebody should be here for that. And they kind of bucked that stuff, but could have been, some answers could have been determined on that. Yeah, I got mixed emotions on that, but I think the liability insurance should have covered whatever, and smells when you cook meals and have weddings, you get smells in here all the time, so I don't think that was a big issue, so like I say, can't help myself. Thank you for listening.
No, it's not. 2 out of 3 of us agree with you. Yeah, I know, I'm the bad guy.
Well, you're the responsible one.
Oh, it's,
Frame it more positively.
so, any other comments, from the board or the audience before I close off the public meeting? Okay, then that, announcements, next park board meeting, February 24th, 6 PM, Reiki Lodge. Who wants to make a motion to adjourn?
Alice and Todd, I move to adjourn.
I'll second. Aye.
Aye, let's go. On down.
Ayes have, it. No objections on that.
So I want to go try to catch the
You know, I had
second.
surgery.
You guys-
That's